Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a gun in ROBLOX Studio. So the first thing you want to do is to grab these two free models that I made. One of them is a bullet, and the second one is the gun itself. So I'll leave the link in the description below. So once you've bought both of those models off the creator store, you can just add it to Studio from your toolbox. So you can go to Toolbox, and under Inventory you can add the two models now. So working rifle, let's see, do we want to put this tool into starter pack? No. And the bullet. So the bullet we want to put in replicated storage, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we have this gun. So the first thing we want to do is to look at how it works. So the gun just has a handle part and has a front part, so this is where the bullets will shoot from, and it's held together by a weld. So don't move this part at all or it'll break the weld and you'll have to add it back again. So what we want to do is we want to add a remote event inside of it, and we want to call it mouse event. Now let's add a local script inside the gun as well. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the tool, so we can do local tool equals script.parent, then get the handle, local handle equals tool.handle. We want to get the players, so local players equals game get service players. The next thing we want to do is get the mouse event we just made, so we can do local mouse event equals tool wait for child mouse event. Now we can get the player's mouse by doing local mouse equals players dot local player get mouse. We'll have a boolean for whether the gun is expecting input or not, so local expecting input equals false, and a boolean to detect if the mouse is held down by the player, and we'll set them both to false. So we just want to assign values to it when the player equips the tool, unequips the tool, or presses down. So we'll have a function for when the tool is equipped, so we'll call it onEquipped, and the player mouse gets passed as an argument. So we want to assign the mouse to the player mouse, and we want expecting input to be true, because when the player equips the gun, we would expect that they would want to shoot it. So we're saying that we're expecting the player to fire the gun. And since they're currently not holding the mouse down, we'll have is mouse down equals to false. And we'll do something similar for when the gun is unequipped. We'll just say it's not expecting input and the mouse is not held down. We'll create a third function called onActivated, and this event fires when the player clicks down when they have the tool equipped. So we'll say is mouse down equals true, and then when the player deactivates, so when they let go, so when they're no longer firing the gun, we'll say is mouse down equals to false, and we'll connect it all to the event. So tool.equipped connect onEquipped, tool.unequipped connect on unequipped, tool.activated connect on activated, and tool.deactivated connect on deactivated. We'll have it so that it'll fire as long as you keep your mouse held down. So what we want to do is we want to get the run service and basically fire an event every time a new frame happens. So if is mouse down equals to true, then we want to fire the mouse event. So it's telling the script to fire the gun. So we'll fire server mouse.hit.position and handle.front.position. Alright, so the next thing we have to do is to add a server script. So let's add one now. Alright, but before we add anything inside of this script, we want to create another remote event, but this time we add it into replicated storage. So we'll add a remote event there. We'll call it visualize bullets event. That's visualize with a Z. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to get the tool, get the handle, get the mouse event, we'll create a boolean for whether the gun can fire or not. Now we'll define some constants. So this is if you want your bullets to kind of go off a bit. So we'll have a constant for the minimum spread angle for the bullets and a maximum bullet spread angle. We'll set it both to 0 for now. And we'll have another constant for fire delay, so this is basically your cooldown. The smaller the number is, the faster you can fire your bullets. So let's say we want to fire every 0.25 seconds. And bullets per shot, which is basically how many bullets do you want to go out for every shot. So something like a shotgun would have multiple bullets every shot, but every other gun is just 1 bullet per shot. And we'll define a random number generator, and then another constant, so math.pi times 2. So we want to get the visualize bullet event, so local visualize bullets event equals game get service replicated storage wait for child visualize bullet event. Notice if you've written it correctly, it should pop up. I've typed the first few letters of visualize and then the rest of it already shows up, and I can just press enter to fill in the rest. So we want a function to fire the bullets, and it'll take in the endpoint and the start position as parameters. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the tool is actually being equipped. So we want to make sure that the tool is not in their backpack. So if tool.parent is a backpack, then return end. So we can get the direction of the bullet's path by doing local direction equals, and then in brackets endpoint minus handle dot front dot position, and then outside the brackets dot unit, and then get the C frame of the direction. So direction C frame equals C frame dot new vector 3 dot new colon direction. Now we want to get the direction of the bullet, so we can do local new direction equals in brackets directional C frame times C frame dot from orientation 0 0 RNG next number, and then in brackets 0 TAU. But there's more, so we want to multiply that by C frame dot from orientation math dot rad RNG next number minimum bullet spread angle colon maximum bullet spread angle, move 2 brackets over, comma 0 0, move 2 brackets over, dot look vector. Or we want to define some raycast parameters. And we want to filter descendants, so raycast parameters dot filter descendant instances equals curly brackets script dot parent dot parent. So we don't want to be able to hit the actual player who shot the bullets, otherwise that wouldn't really make sense, would it? Alright, and then we set the filter type to exclude, so enum.raycast filter type.exclude. So we want to exclude all descendants of the player's character because we don't want to hit ourselves when we shoot the gun, and we want to ignore water. So we want to get the raycast results, so it equals workspace raycast. So we want to raycast from the start position, the new direction times 250. So this number is basically how far you want the bullets to go. So let's just leave it at 250 studs, which is pretty far already. and then we want to pass in the raycast parameters that we just made. So we check if it hit anything. So if raycast result, then. So if raycast result dot distance is less than or equals to 250, then we want to visualize the bullet. Well, actually, either way we want to visualize the bullet, but we want to know when to stop it. So we will fire the event from here. So visualize bullets events, fire all clients, start position times the new direction times the raycast results distance, and then pass in raycast results dot distance again, and then pass on the color you want the bullet to be. So color 3 from RGB. So basically you can go in between the brackets, you'll see this color palette show up. You can open it and drag and select the color. Once you have the color you want, just press OK. Alright, and then else. So if the bullet hit something that was out of range, we'll also visualize the bullet. So let me just copy this line of code here and paste it here. Except we replace raycast result dot distance with 250 because that's the maximum distance, and we'll replace it from here as well. Then we do local hit part equals raycast result dot instance local hit point equals raycast result dot position local normal equals raycast result dot normal. So we want to make sure we actually hit something. So if hit part not equal to nil and hit part dot parent not equal to nil, then we see if the thing that we hit has a humanoid inside. And if it does, it's either a player or an NPC. So local humanoid equals hit part dot parent find first child humanoid. If there's a humanoid, then we want them to take damage. So humanoid take damage, let's say 25 damage. And if they didn't hit anything, so here it's if raycast result, then we go down here and we add an else block. So if it didn't hit anything, we still want them to make the bullet, right? So we want to copy the second visualize bullets event, fire all clients. Copy that line and then just put it in the else block right here. And the last thing we want to do is we want to connect the mouse event to this script. So we do mouse event on server event connect function the client that fired the mouse point in the start position. Let me just remove this end bracket and enter. So the first thing we want to check is if it's not still on cooldown. So if not can fire, then return. So we don't do anything if the player cannot fire, meaning it's still on cooldown. So if they can fire, we immediately want to make sure that they can't fire again until the actual bullets have gone through. So we set it to false. And we have a for loop for I equals 1, bullets per shot, do, and we call the fire function with the mouse point, and the start position. So if fire delay is greater than 0.03, then we'll wait the amount of time that you set for the cooldown, and then we'll end that if statement. And after it's waited that cooldown, we'll make can fire equals to true. Alright, the last thing we have to do is to actually visualize the bullets. So we'll go into starter player scripts and we'll add a local script inside it. Alright, so in the local script we want to get the visualize bullet event. So local visualize bullets event equals game get service replicated storage wait for child visualize bullets event. We want to get the tween service, and we want to get the bullet that we want to clone, which is that shot part, that bullet part that we had from the free model that I made. So shot part equals game get service replicated service wait for child shot part, and then get the run service. We then have to create the function to visualize the part. It takes in the start position, the end position, distance, and color as parameters. So let me just quickly connect that event. So visualize bullet event, on client event, connect, visualize. Pretty simple. I think the first thing we have to do is to clone the bullet. So shot part clone, and we want to change the color to the one we want, so just do the following. Alright, so we're changing the inner trail and the outer trail. You also got to change the light in the middle, I think. So middle, wait for child, light. Let me just remove this bit over here. Then set the position. And then we have to tween it, so set a goal. And here we're just creating the tween info. Now create the tween. So we pass the bullet, the tween info, and the goal. But yeah, we also want to add the debris service. I kind of forgot about that. So I just want to add the bullet to the debris service, so it will immediately get destroyed when we don't need it anymore. And then parent it to the workspace. We'll do run service dot render step wait. We'll do it twice. I found that this time worked the best, so that the bullet doesn't look like it's lagging. The last thing we want to do is just play the tween. Alright, pretty simple. So let me just run this and see if it works. Right, I forgot to put it in the starter pack. Yeah, tools go in the starter pack, otherwise you won't get it. So let me run that again. Got a gun, and it doesn't fire. Okay. Oh, I know where I went wrong. In the visualize bullets, in the local script under starter player scripts, I should have done color3.new, not color sequence. Now it should work. So I take out the gun, and it still doesn't work. Alright, so I finally figured out what was wrong. So where you fired the visualize bullets event, you're supposed to add start position plus new direction. So what I did was multiply it with the star button. So don't do that. Change it into a plus sign. So every time you fire all clients over here, change it to a plus. So change this to a plus, and then change it to a plus down here as well. And it should work. So let's run that. Alright, we got the gun, and we have it firing bullets. Now we can test it with zombies as well. So let me just go to the toolbox and add a few zombies. Okay, duplicate, and play. Alright, you got this gun and you can take down the zombies. You can even modify the guns a bit, so if you want the bullets to go off track a little bit, you can change this angle, but you want to keep it really small, so like keep it under 5 would be good. And you can change the fire rate as well. The smaller the number, the shorter the cooldown. And if you wanted more bullets per shot, you can increase this number here. So that's about it, and that's how you make a gun in Studio. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.